Good afternoon and welcome everyone to the official opening of the Mid Canterbury Machinery Club's new club rooms. My name is John Stewart and I'm the current club president. It's been a long journey for the club to finally have a base to call our own. The building we have today is just what the club needed to help us grow our membership and profile in the community. And it gives us a base to meet and display machinery for now and into the future. I would now like to introduce Bruce Campbell, who was the first president, and he will talk about the formation of the club and its early days.
Good afternoon everybody, and thanks John for the introduction. Can you hear me? I'm deaf so I yell anyway. Is that too loud down the back? Alright. Well anyway, as John said, it's been a long journey, and I was asked to, fairly recently, if I would like to speak and maybe tell you how the club started. As John said, I was the first president, so anyway, in the Ashburton Guardian, and in those days we didn't even have faxes from memory. You had to go down to the Guardian and fill a form in. And anyway, I hired a room from the council at the library upstairs and called a meeting, and we had, well, I thought 14 people that we had on the list, but apparently, and I apologise, Gilbert Donaldson was missed off the list. So I have got a list here of, well, 15 people that were at the initial or inaugural meeting, and the formation of the club was on the 3rd of March 1983, so there's about 15 there, and I think there's only about 6 of us on this list that are still alive, and me being one of the youngest, me and Michael Ross. But having said that, well, Jim and I didn't know when we put this ad in whether anybody would come at all, so we were pleasantly surprised. Am I standing too close to that? Pleasantly surprised that we had that number of people, and a club kicked off, and we sort of got underway. So that was how it started. We took then, was on the 3rd of March 1983. On the 1st of May, Saturday the 1st of May, we had a bit of a play day down at Ron Langdon's, and we had quite a few people there, and I've got the original cutting. I didn't bring it with me because it's in a big scrapbook. Time since 1983, and whilst I don't live in Ashburton, I still know a lot of the faces here, and it's good to see such a big turnout, and I would congratulate the club on this magnificent building that you've got here, and how you've moved on through the years. And on the note of that, I would just say that it did come up, and I can personally remember saying this at the meeting. I guess it was from having my experience with buildings at the Rail and Preservation Society, that the club that Jim and I were suggesting be formed was a club to foster the kindred spirit in the in the vintage and classic tractor and machinery area, and we wouldn't be ever looking to own any grounds or buildings, end of story, because we wouldn't have to worry about the maintenance. Now look at the fantastic building and facility you've got here, so well done, and wish you all the very best for the future.
Thank you, Bruce. That brings back a few memories, because I went to the second meeting that you held. I'll just talk about the club as it is today. The club today has grown to 110 members from all walks of life that have an interest in vintage and classic tractors and machinery. Even classic trucks are now turning up at some of our events. We get about 50 people attending monthly meetings on the first Wednesday of each month, usually followed by a guest speaker. Activities that members are involved in are 2 tractor treks a year, visiting farms, businesses, vintage collections around the Ashburton district. Bus trips are also held twice a year, which takes members outside the district to some very interesting places. For the last 3 years, 16 members have gone on an annual trip to various parts of the North Island visiting other clubs, and during the 4 days that we're away, the hosting club in the North Island have arranged some very great visits with very full days. We hope that we can repay their hospitality one day. Since the North Island trips have been so popular, planning is well underway for a trip to Victoria, Australia in June next year. This will be a 10-day trip with 25 members and partners visiting farms, vintage collections, tourist destinations and maybe even fit in some shopping. Each year around May, the club's annual ploughing match is held in the Wakanui area, which is a qualifying match for the New Zealand final. In the middle of the year, the club meeting becomes the midwinter dinner, where partners and families are welcome, and this is very well attended with on average 70 to 80 people attending. Some very interesting speakers have followed an enjoyable meal. Members take part in many parades such as the Wheels Week and Santa Parade, along with displays at the Mayfield and Ashburton shows. With having a new venue at the showgrounds, we have a great base to hold displays to support other users of the grounds, such as the recent truck show, raising money for child cancer, and the caravan show held earlier in the year. Tuesday morning tea and a get-together have now been started at the club rooms, which is great for members to have a yarn and put the world to right. We have had to put them to work over the last few weeks preparing our venue for today though. Newsletters are put out every 2 months, which is great for keeping members up to date with what has happened and what to look forward to. An excellent job has been done by all the newsletter editors over the years. In the past, the club has held many vintage machinery rallies at various venues throughout this district and attended plenty more run by other clubs to celebrate club or machinery milestones, such as the 100 years of the tractor. Wheat and Wheels rallies have been run by this club twice now and have been a huge success, with large donations being made to Ronald McDonald House, South Island, from the proceeds. Planning is well underway for the next one of these events and is to be held in April 2022 on Anthony Hampton's property in Lauriston. I'd now like to ask John Hall, our immediate past president, to speak.
Oh, good afternoon, everybody. Day's slowly improving, which we're a bit worried this morning, but anyway, as you have heard, the building of these club rooms has been a long journey for this club. Previous committees investigated sites at the Plains and South Street, but a suitable outcome couldn't be found. The Ashburton AMP Association were approached and they offered the club site which would be suitable. As we're a farm machinery club, this site suits our aims and ideals. To fund the expense of a building like this, we are hiring out the display area to agricultural firms who are using it to train young people in servicing farm machinery and also displaying new machinery to farmer clients. The AMP grounds are ideal for these activities. We have received a lot of help from local businesses to complete this building debt-free. The initial funds came from a bequest from the late Arthur Chisnell estate, and we have grown it from there. Also, substantial donations from the Lion Foundation, Mid Canterbury Trust and Ashburton Rotary have contributed to the funds. This building wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the drive of club member Greg Donaldson, who, with his company, has been a major contributor with his contacts and the supplying of materials at no cost. Also giving us land to grow barley to enable us to get this over the line. Also the builder Phil Williams, which from Structurewise, who has stuck with us through all the site changes along the way. I think this is the 5th site that we actually got this building onto. I'm sure you'll all agree we have a fine building to go into the future. So once again, thank you to all the businesses who have helped. You can see their names on the display board in this building over there. Thank you to all the committee members over the past few years for the support you have given. I and past chairmen have valued your efforts in this venture. We look forward to many years of enjoyment at this site.
Thanks, John, for that. Now I'd like to ask Grant Chisnell just to speak on behalf of the Chisnell family and the Arthur Chisnell estate.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the extended family of Arthur Collingwood Chisnell, he was born in July 1925 and died in January 2008. He was 83 years old. He was the third son, the fifth child of 7 to Colin and Florence Chisnell Eskdale Hines. He was educated at Hines Primary and Ashburton High School. He went shearing with Ray Pawsey in 1940 onwards. They used a listless shearing plant which had 2 stands, one either side. They carted it from farm to farm. In the early 1950s, Arthur took up farming on Dawson's Road, Iffleton. It was a very run-down property, very wet, had none of the fences would hold stock, so again he had to go out shearing to earn money for the materials to fence it. He was a great stockman and run Corriedale sheep. He didn't have much in the way of machinery, but worked in well with neighbours. What he did have was of good quality. We remember an early model Bedford truck, a Gloria Prince car, and later on his last car was a Toyota Corona station wagon. As you can see, he carried his machinery right through. He always turned up to families with goodies for nieces and nephews. He was always there when help was needed, and he also enjoyed fishing at Lake Huron. He was a confirmed bachelor, set in his ways, but very sincere and careful with his money, which, as you can see, enabled him to donate to the Mid Canterbury Machinery Club in this fine building. Thank you.
Thanks, Grant, for the life history on Chisnell Estate, so it's very good. So now I'd like to ask Andrew Falloon to say a few words and then we'll cut the ribbon.
Kia ora and good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here this afternoon. I was just thinking when I was sitting here, about 20 or so years ago, I used to bike and then drive the road behind us pretty much every day, going out to the pig farm that I worked on when I was growing up. And on about the second day that I was working there, when I was about 13 years old, the manager of the pig farm, who was my dad's cousin, decided it was about time I learnt how to drive the tractor. And so I jumped on and he said, right, and I said, you know, am I good to go? Am I good to go? Do I just sort of point in that direction and away I go? And he said, yep, you're all fine, away you go. And so got about 30 yards down the paddock and there was this very large pop followed by a pretty serious hiss. And I sort of looked back and he was running along, sort of screaming his head off at me. And turns out the brake hadn't been taken off. So unfortunately it sort of fused all the engine up and done about $2,000 worth of damage. He still blames me and I still blame him for not taking the brake off. And so I'm a little bit worried actually about stepping out onto this antique tractor this afternoon that they've got parked out the formula, and I hope I don't do too much damage to it when we go. It's also been suggested when I arrived here that I should have a poke at the current government. I'll avoid that and just say that over the last few decades in particular, farming has been through quite a few headwinds. Certainly in the 80s, the reforms back then, and more recently we've seen some additional challenges. And I've always been of the view that farmers in particular have always got by on their innovation, and the fact that they are willing to use that number 8 wire mentality and fix things and give it a go. And looking around this room, I think you can see a lot of cases of that, where I'm pretty sure that certainly some pieces of equipment in here, it wasn't a case of ringing up a manufacturer and getting a new bit of equipment. A lot of it would have been done on the smell of an oily rag, getting underneath and fixing it yourself, and often putting in a part that perhaps didn't quite belong, or perhaps was fixed by some enterprising farmer. So it's fantastic to see so much history in this room. I want to pay tribute to the Mid Canterbury Machinery Club, also to all the people who have backed this project, the Chisnell family and others. It's a fantastic asset for Mid Canterbury, not just for the Machinery Club, but also, as you've heard, for a lot of other groups who will use this. I've already been in here for one event. It was a fantastic evening here, and so I just want to congratulate everyone who's been involved, the Machinery Club, all the other backers. Thank you very much to everyone who's made this a reality.
Thanks, Andrew, for your words. I'd just like, we've come to the end of it. Thank you everyone for attending the opening of the club rooms. A cup of tea will be served in the meeting room here behind us, and I encourage you to have a look around and talk to club members. So we'll now cut the ribbon and unveil the plaque.
county crawler, and I don't forget things like that. So when we got asked Andrew to do this job, I actually mentioned that was part of the deal, that we'd get a Ford County crawler here for him to drive. So he had never seen his grandfather's Ford County crawler. Anyway, I had talked to Gordon, the late Gordon Carter. We had it teed up last year that we would have it here. So we have it here, and we'll open that door up in a minute or two before you go and have a cup of tea, or somebody might want to come and have a look. And Andrew's, you've never driven a crawler before, have you? And we've got the and we're going to get him to drive it up and back. So we're going to open up the door and give you your first. It's a blue one too, which we got the right colour for you. Well, thanks, Andrew. We'll go out and do that now.
You didn't break it.
Well, thanks, Andrew.
Oh, yeah.